Google is looking for ways to get the next generation of technology users on board at a young age. The company plans to offer accounts to children under the age of 13 for the first time through Gmail and YouTube. For more on Google's possible plans, we're joined now by our tech expert, Dan Thompson. Dan, good to see you. Happy Friday.
Thank you.
Okay, this is really nothing new when it comes to young people logging on to these different accounts. They've been doing it even though they aren't 13.
That's right.
Is Google really just kind of grabbing onto and catching up with what the kids are already doing?
Well, it seems to be that that's what they're doing. Like Google, Facebook also has rules against children being on under 13. Kids do it all the time. What it seems to be is that Google is creating facilities for parents to properly govern and monitor what their children are doing. So along with these younger accounts, parents will have controls to say, you know, my child can't search for pornography, they can't search for gambling sites, and then it can give you supposedly will be able to give you a report of what your child has been doing online. So it seems to be that they're aiming to give you tools as a parent to properly, you know, help guide your kids and help them learn and use what is awesome about the internet and keep them away from what's bad.
So they are really addressing the net protection of the kids.
Seems to be, that's right.
And time will tell if indeed that turns out to be the case. All right.
Exactly.
Let's talk about what would a child-friendly version of YouTube be like? How would that look?
Right, yeah, so immediately the ads that they're using could be different. The content that's served up would hopefully be different. And like I was saying a second ago, with the parental controls, we should be able to, you know, block things that aren't appropriate for children.
Right.
So I think, you know, as far as the look and feel, it'll probably be much the same. It's just when I punch in, you know, heavy metal music video, what I get back should be different.
Right. Who polices this? Google?
Good question. Yes. Yeah. So it's left up to the greater calling, or the greater value system, I should say, of Google to say what is and what isn't.
Right.
There's really no official rating system of the internet per se. I mean, it's somewhat self-policed, but yeah, it's kind of left up to the morals of Google to decide what's appropriate, what's not. If you look at the history of what the company has done, though, they have a very strong stance against pornography. They have a very strong stance against things like that. So I think we can expect a decent showing from Google for this. What has people freaked out, though, is the fact that, you know, Google is an ad-based company. That's how they make their money. So what are they going to be targeting my child with?
Right.
And is that appropriate, and is it not appropriate? That sort of thing.
Right, and that varies given, you know, the parent, obviously.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you foresee this relaxation of rules? Do you see this as something that will continue?
Well, yeah, sure. Yeah, and I think I don't personally see it as a relaxation of rules. We were talking off the air a second ago that there's a law, it's COPPA, the Child Online Privacy and Protection Act, and so that governs what companies can do as pertaining to children online under the age of 13. So it seems like Google is just trying to figure out a way to operate within that law. So I don't really see it as loosening so much as maybe dodging a little bit, but also providing, you know, parents with tools, because kids, like you said at the very beginning, kids are online anyway.
Yes.
So let's figure out a way to do it safely.
And as a parent, give us some advice, tips on how to monitor what our kids are doing. I mean, it's an important job for us to do.
It absolutely is, and anytime parents bring this up to me, my first statement is always education. Use this as a tool, sit down with your kids and explain to them that, like being out in public, there's people who are bad, and on the internet there are people who are bad, and we just need to know. I mean, it's terrible that you have to tell children about this, but it's the day that we live in, and so you can't just, you know, stick your head in the proverbial hole and hope that the kids don't run into stuff, because they will.
Yes.
So education is always the key, and, you know, put your computer in a public place. Put it in the kitchen or somewhere where, you know, there's high traffic, to where, you know, if they do stumble on something they shouldn't have, you'll be in a line of sight and you can go, you know, solve the problem quickly. I mean, that's generally the easiest thing.
That's right. All right, Dan Thompson, great information as always. Thank you. And we are back right after this.